mom and pop to feed them and clothe them, provide for them, and let them alone. Don't tell them what to do. Don't tell them where to go. Don't tell them when to come in. But listen, privileges and responsibilities go together. And if you're not willing to accept the responsibility, you don't deserve the privilege. Any young person that wants his parents to provide for him but not to guide him, that young person is wrong. And any parent who gives his child all the privileges but does not administer wise discipline is making a sad mistake. You're shortchanging the child and handicapping him for life, and you're hurting yourself. Tie work, good grades to rewards and privileges, and when the work and the good grades and the behavior goes down, let the privileges go down also. God give me strength to preach. I'll never forget when I was 12 years old. Mom called me to the car, said, I'm taking you downtown to be with Elder Lee. Elder Lee was an elder who owned a shoe shine stand. It operated in the Armed Services YMCA. 12 years old, Mom took me down and said, here he is, Elder Lee. Elder Lee said, come on, boy. Taught me how to shine shoes. And for months and months, summer, after school, I was down at the Armed Services Y, 12 years old. Shining shoes. Had money in my pocket. Had the dignity of producing and generating an income for myself. Learn how to be to work on time. Learn how to work without complaints. Learn how to do a good job, because those military men will tell you when you hadn't done a good job. Learn how to put the polish on their shoes and not on their socks and all up their pants legs. I was a shoe shine boy, right? Thank God that I learned that. Thank God that my parents were wise enough to let me experience it. But this young man went to his father and said, Father, give me my share now. And the father could have said no. That's what I would have said if one of my sons came to me. I would have said no. If you're going, go ahead. But you're not going with 1/3 of all that I possess. And most of you, it would have been the same way. This is what the wisdom of that day advocated. Listen, don't give your sons your possessions while you live. Let them have it after you have died. And so this father had every right to say no. But instead, this father began to sell off his possessions, transfer his assets into gold, into money, sell off what he had. And then he gave 1/3 of everything he had to this younger son. And after a few days, this younger son left home and went on his way. Young son shortchanged himself, shortchanged his father, shortchanged himself because he would have to continue to live on his father's income and still receive an inheritance if he had stayed at home. He shortchanged himself because he deprived himself of his father's wisdom and of his father's experience, of his father's guidance. In one moment of folly, he killed the goose that laid the golden eggs. He had separated himself from the source of the gold, and he had only a diminishing supply. This young man was incapable of meaningfully living without his father's help and without his father's guidance. And just in case you feel that this young man in this story is the only one who has done something like this, and that this was the only time that anything of this nature has ever taken place, let me remind you that stuff like this is happening every day. For every day men go to God and seek his blessings, while at the same time they refuse to admit any obligation, any sense of responsibility to God.